South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hi there and welcome to Headliners. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Nearly 10 years after her son's death, Dan Markel's mother is on a mission. Her story isn't about Donna Adelson or the 4 people convicted in connection with her son's death. In a one-on-one conversation with CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner, Ruth Markel shows how she's fighting to keep her son's memory alive.
My son, Dan Markel, was murdered in 2014, and he became known as the slain professor in Florida, and I became known as the mother of the slain professor in Florida.
Ruth Markel wants to change the way we think about crime victims and their families.
And one of the things that I started to notice is that the victims are really underexposed in the court system and in the public. So if you think about TV and you watch a TV show and you see there's a person who's called in to speak to law enforcement, like the family, and then after that you just see them in the court. So the point is that the victim suddenly becomes invisible.
But Ruth Markel won't be invisible, and she won't be silent, talking about her son, Dan Markel, and the grief she's lived with since his murder in Tallahassee. She wrote a book about reflection, grief, and navigating the justice system.
It's the worst thing in the world, the worst thing, and that's why I actually talk about grief.
The day he was murdered, Dan called his mother like he did every day.
He talked to my uncle, his uncle. He put him on the phone and wished him a happy birthday. And then he said something unusual, which is, I have to get off the phone, I have to make another call. And he did, and that was probably saved and blessed me.
Ruth called it a blessing because if Dan did not get off the phone with her, she believes she would have heard him be killed after pulling into his driveway.
He drove into his driveway, and then he said to the other person, he says, somebody's coming in behind me, like he didn't say that he didn't know who they were. And then the other person heard 2 shots.
Since that day, there have been 5 arrests and 4 convictions in connection to her son's murder. His ex-brother-in-law, a one-time periodontist in South Florida, the most recent to be convicted.
First-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
His ex-mother-in-law, the most recent to be charged after being arrested at Miami International Airport on a one-way ticket to Vietnam.
At this point, do you feel like justice has been served?
Well, we're on the way. We're in a good situation now. So Charlie Adelson, that's Wendy's brother, he was just convicted now, November 6th, 2023. And his mother, Donna Adelson, was arrested. She was trying to leave the country and go to Vietnam. So she's in jail. This is really new. And we don't know exactly when her trial will be. So we're certainly coming we're in the right chapter.
As for Markel's ex-wife, Wendy Adelson,
I'm so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
the state has named her a co-conspirator, but Wendy has denied these allegations and she's not been formally arrested or charged. Ruth's life now is focused on making sure people don't forget about her son, who he was, and that his kids remember the Dan she knew.
If he was looking at everything you're doing for, his family, what would he say to you?
I'm doing intentional advocacy and all these other new things that I'm involved in with victims and so forth. But I think that, in his core, this is a sad story, and he would feel the devastation.
For many years, Ruth says she was cut off from seeing her grandkids. She had no legal rights as their grandmother in the state of Florida. So she helped pass a state law that gives grandparents visitation rights when the spouse is involved civilly or criminally in the death of the other parent. It's called the Markel Act. Now, while Dan's ex-wife's family is allegedly at the center of the murder plot, none of them pulled the trigger. I'll break down the timeline for you on our website at cbsmiami.com. Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami. A warning now from the FBI. Agents are sounding the alarm, saying there's a growing threat of sextortion involving minors. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten joins us in Miramar with the critical tips for parents to make sure their children are not targeted.
You were arrested for some serious charges.
19-year-old Joaquin Gutierrez appears in bond court. He's accused of meeting a 12-year-old girl on Snapchat, then eventually going to her home and having sex.
There is probable cause for the charge.
For now, he's being held without bond. The way he's accused of meeting his alleged victim is exactly what the FBI is warning parents about, but their focus is on another crime against children that uses social media, sextortion.
So the offenders are going to the places where children are, their social media, their messaging application, online gaming.
According to the FBI, sextortion is when someone coerces a minor to send explicit pictures or video, then threatens to release the pictures if the victim doesn't send more photos or payment. If money is involved, it's called financial sextortion.
These subjects are then requiring, instead of additional videos and images, they're demanding financial means. So payment through Venmo or other applications that children would have access to. Sextortion crimes are up 20% from October of 2022 to March of 2023. In a year and a half beginning in October of 2021, the FBI reports 13,000 financial sextortion cases. More than 12,000 were minors, mostly boys, leading to 20 suicides. The FBI says combating this begins with a conversation. Can be uncomfortable for caretakers, but you have to have conversations with kiddos about what's out there and making sure they have a comfortable space to talk to you if you were to find something on the child's phone. FBI Special Agent Ellie Bray says parents need to monitor their kids' social media and money. Is you can check children's finances. A lot of times children have access to applications that give them small amounts of money. So just see where those transactions are going. If your child becomes a victim of sextortion, make sure you call authorities. You can either call your local police department or the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. In Miramar, Ted Scout, CBS News, Miami.
Miami-Dade School Superintendent Jose Dotres spoke out last week after the school board agreed to tighten policies on credit card spending. This comes as the board's former vice chair fights criminal charges for allegedly using county money on personal shopping sprees. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward tells us what's next.
This is a school district that audits almost everything.
Facing questions about Miami-Dade County Public School Board credit cards and the way his district manages spending in the crosshairs of the Florida Inspector General's office, Superintendent Jose Dotres defended his staff.
You trust, but you verify. And maybe here, what we've done is that has been off balance.
Board members each have 2 district-managed credit cards for purchase and travel, but staff have not audited a single board member expense in 12 years. Last week, grand theft charges against former board vice chair Lubby Navarro for allegedly spending over $100,000 on trips, furniture, and groceries stirred talk of change. Navarro maintains her innocence. In court Wednesday, her lawyer offered proof that Lubby can afford her bond.
Do have an issue that is disturbing and must be addressed.
This current board voted unanimously to tighten policy and procedure while reviewing spending. They asked Dotres' team to analyze the last 5 years' worth of credit card use and deliver an annual independent audit. Dotres promised that the impact will touch leaders in every part of the district.
Bringing more verification to the board member offices, my own office, the office of the general counsel, and the chief of staff will strengthen our organization again across all levels.
Dotres calls the allegations around Navarro an awakening for the district, though change is hardly over. The Inspector General's office review could force staff to take other action. In Doral, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
The Florida legislature is advancing a measure that would block cities and counties from accepting ID cards for undocumented immigrants. A Senate committee approved the bill Tuesday. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor has reaction from an undocumented mother.
I have the community ID, and this card here has been helping me to pick up my kids from school.
Maria, who is an undocumented immigrant, asked us not to show her face for safety reasons. What she was eager to show us was the only local identification she has as an evidence that she lives in South Florida, but that could change soon. On Tuesday, a judiciary committee of the Republican-controlled state Senate voted 7-3 in favor of Bill SB 1174, sponsored by Senator Blaise Ingoglia from Spring Hill.
And this stops the practice of government giving those government-approved official IDs for the purposes of people who are in the country illegally.
The way it works is a third-party entity, like a service provider. They are the ones that actually issue these community municipal IDs.
In Miami-Dade and Broward, different nonprofit organizations process the ID. Thomas Kennedy is an immigration advocate who was involved in making the IDs a reality.
With this ID, you'd be able to sit through a school board meeting. You'd be able to get a library card.
Maria and Kennedy tell me this is not a driver's license or a state ID. Senate Minority Leader Lauren Book from Davie believes it helps.
Isn't it important that law enforcement know who they're interacting with because they're here?
But it is not the government, in my opinion, it is not the government's function to help illegal immigrants assimilate into communities by offering them the same benefits that legal immigrants are getting.
I mean, I think that's just ridiculous assumption by the senator. People that are just here trying to make ends meet, live their lives, or trying to make their life slightly easier by giving them an ID so that they can use for municipal services.
We feel attacked again.
So Senate Bill 1174 still has to go through more committees in the state Senate as well as the House, but everything indicates that it will get to the floor for a vote. In the newsroom, Ivan Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
And coming up, a push for solar, what Miami-Dade recently unveiled and how the county is trying to help more than just the environment. Next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. The efforts to make all Miami-Dade County buildings solar powered continue with the unveiling of solar panels at the Metro West Detention Center. And it's not just the environment that's going to benefit from this move. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones explains.
Way out west in Miami-Dade County sits the Metro West Detention Center, and only seen by the sky is the county's latest project.
Why waste money when we have the power of the sun?
Solar panels, now adorned atop this county building, is the second of the 3 major solar projects the county is completing, and it's expected to meet 24% of the facility's electricity needs.
You're not going to see this thing. It's going to be on the roof. You're not going to maybe watch the meter like Patricia says we're going to come out and look at the meter, but it's saving this department money that can be used for important programming.
Since her time as a county commissioner, Mayor Daniella Levine Cava says it's been her mission to improve the use of solar across the county. And this latest project is a step in the right direction for her goal of having every county building solar powered. At Metro West, not only is money going to be saved, the county says so is the environment. With 1,709 panels now living on top of the detention center, the county reports it will remove 880 tons of carbon from the atmosphere, which is the equivalent to 196 gas-powered vehicles or 111 homes.
The airport's next.
So this is only the beginning. In Miami, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
A new technology lab is setting up shop in South Florida. It's called Fab Lab Miami, and the goal is to offer engaging programming to children and teens. CBS News Miami's Trish Christakis was there for the launch event and explains how programs are getting students involved in STEM.
We're going to be able to see the objects that we're creating. And down here, the code is just going to start showing.
Getting kids excited about STEM is the goal today. Fab Lab brought different STEM stations together to help students envision themselves in a career like this.
There are not enough workers for the STEM jobs now and in the future. And so the idea is to get kids now excited about STEM and gaining the skills that they need to be competitive for these jobs in the future.
If we go to college, we will already know this stuff and experience more of it, so we'll be ahead of our game when we get to that stage.
Today they got to experiment, play, and learn how to code, use robotics, 3D print, and more.
Some of the students that have been in our program in the past are now our interns, and so it's really nice to see students helping students.
Fab Lab Miami launched in Homestead because it's an underserved community when it comes to after-school activities. And they said the need is especially high for high-quality STEM programming.
That technology is good because I never used it before, but I feel like it can help you calculate the data and like math, and it just helps you grow your brain.
They expect to serve 100 students this year and double it next year. In Homestead, Trish Christakis, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, a special surprise for a World War II veteran, how he finally got his long-awaited graduation party.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Now, a Miami proud that will touch your heart. A local family got a fresh start thanks to the kindness of strangers led by a very special and giving South Florida woman. CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez shares how it all happened.
You're amazing, and thank you.
It's tears of joy for Lakeisha Webb as she thanks a stranger who saved her life.
I've been going through a lot. Me and my family, we've been homeless for the last couple of months, almost like a year now.
But that all changed on December 13th when fate brought Jennifer Little and 35-year-old Lakeisha together.
When I got out of the car, I approached her and she looked up at me and kind of sat up straight, and I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "I can't afford to live anywhere."
Lakeisha was sitting in a Fort Lauderdale Publix parking lot with her 3 young children when they met.
From the very beginning, she had, in her own words, absolutely nothing. Because unfortunately, on the days when she couldn't come up with the money to stay in the hotel, they would lock her out and put all her stuff outside, and then people would steal their things. So she literally had nothing.
Jennifer, who is a photographer, says she knew she had to help them. So she posted this picture on her Facebook page and created a GoFundMe and shared Lakeisha's story.
We've raised money to get their her Florida ID, her birth certificates, all the things that got stolen, they're now back. She's in a brand new place, brand new to her. It's got furnishings, it's got all the basics. People have donated this dining room table, the couch, beds, linen. She's got a fresh start. She really has a fresh start.
What just happened?
I got the place. I got the job.
You excited?
Yes.
Oh, anything else you want to say?
Thank you.
A fresh start for Lakeisha and her children, thanks to the generosity of a community and the special woman, Jennifer Little, who opened her heart to a stranger in need.
I needed that push. Now I feel like, okay, I'm one step ahead. Like, I can actually, I have a second chance. Like, I'm ready.
What an incredible moment. And Jennifer, who by the way is very modest, says she couldn't have done this alone and thanks all those who helped her change Lakeisha's life. And talk about a full circle moment with an assist from Jennifer. Lakeisha is now working at the same Publix where the two first met. Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
Wow, and probably forged a lifelong friendship in the process. And finally, a present from the past was given to a World War II veteran for Christmas. The 96-year-old finally got his high school diploma, turning holiday celebrations into a graduation party. CBS News Miami's Jim Barry takes us there.
There it is. The first thing you see when walking through the door of Arthur Masterson's Warwick home is a table of tokens and sentiments his daughter Elaine says are most meaningful to the 96-year-old.
He's got his Legion hat there. He's got an award for being a member of the Legion for 70 continuous years.
A few weeks ago, a few more items were added after Arthur's family learned more about his life when he was a senior at East Greenwich High School.
On Thanksgiving, we were here looking through some paperwork that he had, and my son-in-law noticed that he had left high school to join the military.
Elaine wanted her dad to have his diploma. After all, he was mere months away from graduating before he went to war. So she sent a detailed email to Dr. Brian Ricca. He's the superintendent of East Greenwich Schools.
So often as a superintendent, my response, even after doing digging and looking, is no. It felt so good to say yes.
Right before Christmas, a present from the past was given to their family.
I started to get tears in her eyes, and I said, here's your dad's diploma.
And on the 25th, Arthur opened a gift.
I graduated. Yeah.
Yes, you have. A lot of us were really in tears. It was just a really happy moment that we could give it to him. Open it up.
And with it came great gratitude.
I believe that military service is what gives us our freedom. And so the fact that Arthur left high school to serve in World War II, to defend our country, it's easily the right thing to do to say, yes, that counts as enough additional credits to make sure that you have a diploma from East Greenwich High School.
Diploma after all these years.
It's official.
That me?
Yeah.
You sure? Daddy, you graduated.
I'm Jim Barry, CBS News, Miami.
Never too late. Congrats to him. Thanks for joining us this half hour on Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great one.